This is the plaintiff, Jennifer Garay. She says the defendant got really drunk one night and he spilled a drink on her 2014 MacBook computer. The next day, she failed her SAT final because her laptop was broken and she needed it to answer a lot of the test questions. The defendant has blocked her on social media. He won't take her calls and she has no way of getting him to pay her the $1,603.93 it's going to cost her to get a new computer. That's why she's suing. This is the defendant, Mark. He says the plaintiff had her laptop open on the floor next to 3 open beers while he and her boyfriend were playing Nintendo. All of a sudden, the plaintiff starts freaking out about her laptop, and she accuses him of spilling one of the beers on it. Well, first of all, he was nowhere near her laptop. And secondly, she left the laptop in a precarious place at a frat house. So how's the damage his fault? He's accused of spillage.
All parties, please get your ready.
Welcome back to the People's Court. Next case in the docket. The plaintiff says the defendant got so drunk at the frat house, he spilled a drink on her MacBook, and as a result, she failed one of her finals. But the defendant says she left the computer out in the frat house, so how stupid. It's the case of have a drink on me.
Thank you, Douglas. Jennifer Garay, yes. You are suing Mark, the fraternity brother of your boyfriend?
Yes.
Okay. For $1,603.93, the amount you had to pay for a brand new MacBook because, according to you, he spilled beer on your last one.
Yes.
What happened?
Okay, so that night, we were just hanging out beforehand. I was studying because I had a stats exam the following day. And on top of that, I had a shift at 10:30 at work. So he came over, and they were just fooling around and stuff.
Okay, he came over where?
To Christopher, my boyfriend's apartment.
To his apartment,
yes.
Okay.
So he came over, and he ended up getting really drunk, drunker than he thought he probably was. And
did Chris get drunk?
Chris was drinking, but I wouldn't say he got.
How old's everybody?
Yeah. I'm sorry?
How old is everybody?
I'm 21, Your Honor.
Yeah.
How old are you?
Not 21.
How old are you?
Not 21.
Okay. Are your parents watching?
Oh, no.
Go ahead.
So eventually, he offered me a drink. I said yes, but I put it on the ground, and then eventually he just kept spilling drinks throughout the night. It wasn't just one, it wasn't just two, it was 5 drinks he kept spilling.
He spilled 5 drinks?
Yes, in one night, and one of them, of course, happened to fall on my laptop.
Which one? Spilled drink number 1, number 2, number 3,
number 3 or 4.
Okay, and you have an open Mac?
I did not have an open Mac. It was placed on the ground by the couch on the ground, but it was
closed.
Is it
closed or open?
It was closed.
And so he spilled a beer?
Not a beer, it was a mixed drink.
Mixed drink.
Of Burnett's flavored vodka with orange
Why
juice.
wouldn't you pick up your computer off the floor of a little frat reunion?
Well, it was
not exactly a frat house, but, you know, people are drinking,
yeah.
Your computer's on the floor, their drinks, he's spilling them. He spills the first one, he spills the second one. Why don't you just pick up your computer?
Well, it was on the other side of the couch. It was totally...
Not really, because this happened.
Yeah. Well, it was out of the way. I thought it was out of the way. And, yeah, so I just didn't think about...
Who put the drink on the floor that spilled?
I'm not sure if it was me.
Was it your drink? Was it your boyfriend's drink?
It was one of ours. It was literally just us hanging out, so it was like 3 of us. So I'm not sure whose drink it was. It was a very
okay, so how many drinks did you have?
I had none because the defendant kept spilling my drinks.
So you were trying to drink, but you couldn't?
Yeah, honestly, I wanted to drink, but
Why didn't you just stop putting them on the floor?
There wasn't a table.
I was afraid you were going to say that. There's no table to put the drink in, so we put them on the floor. Okay.
Yeah.
All right, let me hear from you. How drunk were you?
I would not say that I was very drunk, and I also was not spilling multiple drinks. The drink that she says I offered her, I did not offer her a drink because the beers, which were actually what spilled, they belonged to her boyfriend's roommate. He is actually over 21 and bought them for them. I did not bring over any of the beers, and I also did not have 5 drinks that I possibly could have spilled.
Were you drinking beer?
I drank, yeah. I had one beer that they offered me.
You had one beer?
I was drinking other mixed drinks.
Okay.
Those were not on the floor.
What was it that spilled?
It was a beer.
And was it your beer that spilled?
I don't believe so, no.
You don't know?
There were multiple beers on the ground.
All the beers were on the floor. Nobody even knows which beer they're grabbing. Where is the computer in relation to where people are putting drinks?
The way his apartment is set up, is there are 2 chairs right next to each other, and then along the wall, there's the couch, and there's about 3 feet between the chair and the couch, and her laptop was in between those 2 with the 3 beers around them.
On the floor?
Yes.
Was it open or was it closed?
I believe it was open. I remember seeing a black screen on it.
So do you know when this happened? Like, did she yell and...
Yes, because I was looking forward. We were just playing video games, and then she starts getting upset, and I look over, and she told me that I spilled it. I told her it wasn't me that spilled it, and then she runs off.
So did you come across a spilled drink on your computer? Is that how you realized it happened?
So when we were playing video games, the defendant and I used to be very close friends. So he was kind of like just playing around with me, you know, like shoving me and stuff. So when he did shove me, he kicked over the drink, and that's when the drink landed on the laptop that was on the ground closed.
So you witnessed that happening?
Yes, and immediately when that happened, that's when I got up from my chair and told him to stop messing around for a second while I got my laptop and grabbed a towel to dry it off and ran into Chris's room to dry it off.
Was Chris there when this happened?
Yes, he was.
Come on up, Chris. What happened?
Good afternoon. Well, this is exactly what happened. We were all like in my apartment, like drinking as they said. Mark was a lot more drunk than he's making it seem. Like, I've seen him drunk many times. Like, him and I were good friends, like really good friends.
Oh, you're in a fraternity together?
Yes, we are. He was vice president while I was president.
Okay. So you had been the president of that fraternity, and at that time he was your vice president?
Yes.
So you guys were close?
Pretty close, yes.
All right, so what happened here?
Well, I mean, as somebody who saw the situation happen, I clearly saw him kick over the drink and it spilled on her laptop.
Did you say anything to him at the time?
At the time, I didn't say anything because Jen went into my room to check if her laptop was still working. And then him and I carried on playing video games. And then...
Seriously? Not even that stops you from playing your video games? So when is the first time you say something to him? That text that I read that you provided into evidence where you're like, hey, you kind of did this. That was...
Actually, I sent him a text message the morning after, when like I knew Jen's laptop was broken, to which he never responded. And we talked about other things, and then it wasn't until he blocked Jen on every form of social media when she was like, my laptop is busted, that I messaged him and I was like, yo, you're being like unfair here. Like,
that's not exactly what you said. What'd you actually say?
Not in so many words, but I mean, that was a friend angry at a friend, so.
Yeah. All right. Why are you blocking her instead of dealing head on with the situation? If you don't think you spilled the drink, what happened? How were you planning on dealing with it? Aren't you two still fraternity brothers and stuff? Don't you run into each other? Do you talk to each other?
Yes, we do, and we studied together, and we have classes together. And when he texted me asking me to talk to Jen, he's right. I didn't respond to him. I went and looked at Jen's messages. The morning after that, I had to go to work. I work about an hour away from where I live.
Wait, are you going to give me excuses for why you didn't respond to a text? You folks who like have to describe your hangnails on Instagram and Snapchat and all your other, you're gonna tell me I had to go to work and I had to, wait, you didn't look at your phone and send other texts and all that time? Because I'm finding that hard to believe. So you were kind of rude and you didn't respond to her. Why didn't you respond?
Okay, so she leaves the computer on the floor and people are drinking, and the guy does spill the drink on it and ruins it. Does she get her money from him?
No.
Why?
Because she should have been more responsible. She knew where she was at. She knew the scenario. She should have put it up somewhere safe.
But he didn't. He spilled the drink on it. But that wasn't a trick question.
Being a college student, I know that I wouldn't be able to just come up front with money for another MacBook, and yes, I would probably be, upset with myself for being irresponsible with my MacBook, but he should definitely subsidize the cost for a new one since it's what he did.
But you left it on the floor.
Okay, but he spilled the drink.
I got it, but you left it on the floor. Infinity, going inside the courtroom.
Because, Your Honor, I know that people will say things in texts and messages that they're not
So why
going to
didn't
say.
you pick up the phone and call? You had a long ride to work. Why didn't you pick up the phone and call?
Because I wanted it to be done in person.
Oh, so you didn't do it at all. So your solution was you so wanted it done right that you didn't do it at all. Okay. How old was the laptop?
I believe it was the early 2015 version or the late 2014. But
okay, I need to see a receipt for it.
I have.
Do you have a receipt for the old laptop? Because what he ruined was an old laptop, not a brand spanking new Mac. So you don't get to come to court and sue for the cost of a brand new Mac.
Correct.
Even if, what you get is what the going rate is for a depreciated Mac.
Yeah.
So,
Well, this is the going value for like the my version.
okay, let me see what you were offering as proof. Honey, you're still showing me a brand new MacBook.
Yeah, no, I know. That's what I said.
I don't. A car. You know how they say, well, as soon as you drive the car off the lot, it's depreciated?
Correct.
A computer, basically, is infinitely worse than a car.
Correct.
So were you going to show me any proof of what a 3-year-old computer? Okay.
I don't have a receipt for my old computer. I'm sorry.
All right, so this is a part where we do a little rough justice.
Okay.
And because I have to kind of figure out what would somebody pay you for your Mac.
Okay.
That's what it is. Do you think that maybe you have some fault at this too?
Honestly, I would have talked all this over with him. I gave him multiple chances.
Well, now you and I are talking,
Yeah.
and you're right. He did not do right by you. He did not behave like a decent person should.
Yeah.
So now I'm asking you now, because you and I are talking about it. Don't you think that leaving either an open or a closed computer on the floor of a frat house, essentially, with 3 people drinking, everybody putting their drinks on their floor, and 2 prior spillages? Don't you think that maybe you have some responsibility here too?
I guess so, but the laptop was so out of the way, and on top of that,
How out of the way was it?
This was the couch.
The drink spilled on the laptop. That's proof it wasn't out of the way. All right, I'm going to find the value of the laptop to be $500. I'm going to find you each 50% at fault. I'm going to order you to pay her $250. That's my judgment.
Thank you.
So the defendant, Mark, has to end up giving the plaintiff $250 for the laptop. You okay with that?
Well, mistakes happen, and I think I can part with the money. It's terrible when you break something that's as personal as a laptop, so
no, I don't
it's better to just have it behind us.
You agree the judge said you didn't act like a responsible person by not replying to her?
I was trying to do it in person, but I agree that I probably made it a little bit worse by pushing it off and not giving any response.
So I gather you've learned something from all of this.
I have.
And do you miss the fraternity? You're obviously not involved now, right?
I stepped away from it last year. Of course, I miss my friends and I miss the people I grew very close with, but I still see them, and
you're okay with it?
I'm okay with it.
Okay. Thank you very much. You must sign some documents that way. Here comes mascara. You all right with this? Now you wanted $1,600. You're not going to get that.
It's fine.
But you've already gotten a new computer anyway.
Yeah,
right?
I had to finance it, but it's fine. I'll figure it out.
Okay. You guys are still friendly, and he's not part of it anymore, huh?
Yep, clearly not.
Okay. Sorry about
Thank
that.
you.
Live and learn. All right, thank you very much. All right, Harvey, what do you think?
Okay, Doug, in this case, the judge said both parties are responsible, made it 50-50. It's called comparative negligence, and it doesn't have to be 50-50. It could be any configuration based on the specific facts of the case.